Guess who's back in Porto? Yeah. Guess second time's a charm? Let's get it.
So as you can tell, I've made it back to Porto, and the first stop on the trip is the São Bento train station. I want to say the first time I visited the place was back in April of 2024, and just the magnificent beauty of this place. I can come back here every single time I come back to Porto. The painted tiles, the architecture of this train station, just the crown moldings, the ceiling, it is well preserved and just a magnificent train station just to hang out in.
So we're back at the main train station. This is São Bento, and this is the train station that was supposed to be, I guess, inspired J.K. Rowling. So I'm gonna spin around here so you guys can see it. And there are the trains that come in. And this is one of the main stops when it comes to the train line. It brings you pretty much the closest you can get to the Ribeira side of Porto, near the river and etc. So this is like the main spot. And then everything is about 15-20 minutes walking distance to get to the main parts of Porto. Well, at least all the places that you'd want to see from a touristic standpoint. Then here you have the Time Out Market. And we'll get some food. But yeah, and all the buildings in the back there have some renovation going on. It's definitely a beautiful train station. So what do you guys think? So this is representation of the old trains that used to frequent this old historical train station. So it's really cool that they have these models.
So after leaving the São Bento train station, we actually went over to Vila Nova de Gaia, which is across the Ponte Luís I bridge. You can see the trains kind of going over the bridge from Porto to Vila Nova de Gaia, but this is one of the main spots where you can have a wonderful view of the river and the beautiful landscape and skyline of Porto. The next stop was actually the Porto Cathedral, and this is a cool spot to check out. It is well preserved. There's always a ton of tourists out checking out the sites. and it gives you an expansive view, especially when you go down to the south side of the Douro River. So this is the other side of the Porto Cathedral, and just another great view. I mean, the weather wasn't very great this day, but the magnificent carved blocks of granites, and it is just a really pretty place. And then here, one of the things I always look at is, how well the buildings are preserved, especially the touristy areas. And here you can see that some of the buildings are actually in pretty bad shape at one of the very tourist destinations. So just something that I always look for and kind of point out. Then we spent some additional time over in Vila Nova de Gaia. We went over to the watch garage and met the owner, Andre. I was with my buddy, Rudy, and I'll put his link down in the description there. But to say the least, this place is amazing. It's like, I guess, like a man cave / lounge / just an amazing display of a man's passion. He has his motorcycles in there, thousands of different wristbands, and it was just a treat to meet a guy so passionate about what he's doing and what he's bringing to the world. And this particular place, the Watch Garage, actually specializes in old watches, vintage watches, from Rolex to, anything you name, Cartier, whatever, they have it. And they even have a section of the facilities where they repair watches. So it's like a full service lounge, and it's just an amazing place. And so here you can kind of see me touring around the place, looking at some of the old watches, the vintage watches, and just some of the decor. You can tell that everything was thought out to the T of how to bring this space together. And it's just a cool place just to hang out. And even Andre has said himself, he doesn't mind you even stopping by just to hang out, because that's the type of atmosphere that he wanted to bring to the space. And here you can see what kind of started the whole thing was the watch bands. And he's a strong advocate of removing the original watch bands and putting something with personal taste. So he has customized watch bands that are made out of every type of material possible, from exotic leathers to synthetics to just rare stuff. And you can see the actual thought process that he puts into putting this space together. So this is a wonderful place. If you guys are into vintage watches, definitely check out the Watch Garage. I put the link in the description, and I also tag the Facebook page of the Watch Garage, and tell him that Ken and Rudy sent you if you guys decide to check this place out. Lastly, they also provide online services. So you can purchase a watch online. You don't have to go to Porto if you don't want to. And you can order a watch from there and see what they have in stock, and then have it shipped to your house. And they ship globally. So you have to check it out. You can see we made our way back over to Vila Nova de Gaia, and this is the Jardim de Moro, which is the park right off the river. And this particular evening, they had bands, all different type of bands, coming to jam out. And I'll let you guys enjoy the scenery, see how many people out there, and listen to the banging music. the things I did not expect was how beautiful Porto is at night. You can see over on the east side of the city, you have the sunset, all the lights shining, reflecting off of the water of the Douro River, and it is just magnificent. Now, the first time I came to Porto, it was April, rainy, cold, and now seeing Porto in the summer in this light makes me kind of reconsider Porto. So for dinner, we went together with a couple of Rudy's friends and followers from TikTok, and we went over to Brasão Coliseu. I'm sure I'm butchering the name of this place, but it is a famous francesinha place. And honestly, this is the first time I ever had francesinha, and I'll give my brief review on it. Now, this particular one, it actually had, you can see the egg on top. Underneath that was a layer of cheese, a thick piece of toast, smothered in gravy, and underneath that big piece of toast was a big, like 2 thick slices of steak. Kind of medium rare, not my kind of thing to be honest, but presentation wise, once I cut it open, it was primo. Now, for the taste itself, out of a 5, I give it a 3.5. Honestly, I really wasn't feeling it. The egg, the cheese, the bread, the sauce itself, which was like a gravy-based sauce, it was a little bit tangy, but also kind of savory, had nice flavors. That I enjoyed. And the fries, homemade fries, were banging. But when I cut inside, I got to the actual steak part. I'm just not a medium rare steak guy to begin with, but I have had some medium rare steaks that were very delicious, but unfortunately this one, it was quite chewy and it was hard to chew through it. And if you can imagine kind of medium rare steak, you kind of chewing on that thing for a long time and it's really thick, it wasn't a very pleasant experience. But I know some people who love this. Maybe it just needs to grow on me because, I'm here in Portugal now and it is the kind of thing to eat. But this is one of the things I had to check out in Porto, which is the mecca of francesinhas. And hey, I had to give it a shot. Maybe I'll like it the next time, maybe not. But I had to give it a shot.
Okay, I'm having my first francesinha.
My first one.
My first little French girl.
No. You guys call yourselves my friends?
Yeah.
Just call me a French girl?
The next morning, my friend Rudy and I decided to take a boat trip to see the city from the Douro River. We actually got in contact with Carlos, and Carlos owns the Yachtsman.com website. He does boat tours all up and down the Douro River. So if you guys are ever in Porto and you want to see the city from a different vantage point, reach out to Carlos. He was extremely knowledgeable about the city, giving us little tidbits on recommendations, things where to go, where not to go, sites kind of off the beaten path. He even had a plate of hors d'oeuvres on the boat for us while we're taking the cruise. And it went all the way through the Douro River, leading out towards the ocean. And once we got to the ocean, we turned around and came back up to the river and, just had a nice chill time. And one of the things I can say is that I truly appreciate the views from the river, because you can see views on each side of Vila Nova de Gaia and also on Porto. And it's just a wonderful way to enjoy it. And this was actually my last few hours in Porto, because I had to head back and go back to the Algarve. But I can say without a doubt that I absolutely love Porto in the summer. It was way more crowded than when I went in April the year before, and if you guys want to see the video of my first trip to Porto, I'll put a link here. And you can see the difference, in between the seasons and how things were. But I can say that Porto has a bit more charm to me than Lisbon does. I don't know if it was because you still see all the old buildings that weren't destroyed during the earthquake and the major earthquake in 1755, or you just have, I don't know, it just exudes more culture, to be honest. And I've met some really nice people there, and people that just enjoy the city. Now, the summer, it was really, really crowded. I'm not gonna lie, there were tons of people, but it wasn't overcrowded, kind of like how I felt when I go to Lisbon. The other thing, what people say about Porto versus Lisbon, is that Porto makes all the money, Lisbon spends all the money for the country. You can kind of get the sense that they are true working class people, working themselves in Porto versus the kind of party atmosphere and vibe that I get from going to Lisbon.
Payback? I said it's not my boat, it's your boat. I want to get home safe.
In the end, would I consider potentially living in Porto? Maybe. Honestly, the vibe that I get from Porto, I really like it. And I think the vibe suits myself a bit better. From an aesthetics point of view, it's not the prettiest city, as you can see from some of the things that I pointed out, with some of the structures that are in very touristy destinations. They haven't been rebuilt, they haven't been remodeled, they are just kind of falling to the wayside. And it's a bit of an eyesore, especially when you're around the Riviera side of Porto and Vila Nova de Gaia. You can see the roofs caving in on buildings that are right along the river, and it's sad. It's really sad. I think they have to find a way to kind of maybe even take in eminent domain and take up those properties and sell them to people who want to invest in them and bring them back up to their prominence and beautify the city, because I truly enjoy being in Porto when the weather's good. Let me caveat that. And it's just sad that you see this kind of across Portugal, where a lot of these buildings are just falling apart, especially in prime locations where you think real estate would be worth a lot. So you guys definitely need to check out Porto. I really enjoy it, and I will be going back. I want to see more of Porto. I want to explore more of Porto. I want to go through the Douro River Valley and check out all of the towns along the Douro River, see some of the vineyards, and just soak in the area. I will be doing it in non-winter for sure, because last time I was there in winter, in spring, it was raining, cold. But it is an enjoyable place. It's a fanciful place, and you guys need to come check out Porto. All right, I definitely appreciate you guys for checking it out, the channel, in this video. If you guys have any questions, please leave them down in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.